Welcome back to the Sports Booth YouTube channel. Today, a special video on what we think, or what I think, is going to be the surprise package at this year's Rugby World Cup. Yes, under 30 days to go, and I have one team that's just stood out for me with their recent play, the squad selections they've made, and just the building blocks they have in place to perform at this World Cup and go a bit further than anyone thinks. Now, recently I did do a video on who I thought the dark horses were, but I actually think this is going to be the surprise package completely, and it's not a team involved in that video just because of their performances already. Now, this team is a top 10 team in the world. It has a pool where I would say there's a few dysfunctional teams involved in the pool, and I would say that they've got a very good chance to challenge in that pool, where those teams that they've played that are in their pool probably haven't had as greater chance as they do now to beat them and to advance. This team is also made up of primarily players from one team and a group of players from a specific country that I think will benefit them hugely at this Rugby World Cup. If you haven't worked out by now, the team I'm talking about is Fiji. Yes, Fiji Rugby, I think, are in the perfect spot to really pack a surprise at the Rugby World Cup 2023 in France. 17 of their players come out of the Fijian Judo franchise in the Super Rugby. That's a massive advantage to have a squad, over half your squad, come from one team. 10 of the players come from the French rugby teams or French professional leagues in France, where the World Cup's been held. So used to the conditions, used to the rugby, used to the style of rugby there, can teach those judo players exactly what they need to do to succeed in this type of rugby. Elsewhere, 5 are based out of Europe or the URC, so also a really high, I would say, grade of competition coming out of that. And the last one, if you worked out, that makes 32, is actually Penny Ravai, who plays for the Queensland Reds, so in Super Rugby. So all obviously professionally contracted, but just, I think the way and the makeup of their team so far, it really impresses me, the team they've selected. I think there's a core group that can do a job with the 17 from the judo that they've selected, and then those superstars that are playing in the French top leagues. You can't underestimate those French players and the wealth of experience, A, that they have, and B, that brings playing in France and where the World Cup is obviously being held. The likes of Lavani Botia from La Rochelle, Waisia Nakalavu, obviously the captain of Fiji coming out of the club Toulon. That experience really helps benefit the players of how the game works over there, the atmosphere, and just everything. So I just think the squad is right for the picking. They've also currently moved up to the 10th ranked team in the world, 1 spot above Georgia, who is in their pool, and 1 spot below Wales, and then 2 spots below Australia, who are also in their pool. As we've seen, Australia have picked a very inexperienced World Cup squad, which may come back to bite them. We are still yet to see. Plus, Wales have also gone through their teething issues and have looked very unconvincing in their 2 warm-up games so far against England. On the flip side of that, Fiji have won all their games in the Pacific Nations Cup, beating Tonga, Samoa and Japan all convincingly, scoring over 30 points in all 3 of those games, or never conceding over 20 points in any of those games. They've also got the perfect build-up, in my eyes, to the World Cup. They play France and France, and then England and England before they kick off the Rugby World Cup against Wales. They have the hardest fixtures first, where they go Wales, Australia, Georgia, and then Portugal. But to me, if they win that Wales game, the Aussie game is actually a battle for the top spot, and rather than thinking now about Fiji as being a team that can upset these teams, I'm actually looking at this Fijian team as being able to win this pool. We look at the judo, and they finished in the playoffs for Super Rugby and competed really well against those Australian Super Rugby sides, so it has no doubt that those 17 players can't do it on the world stage. And when you add in a little bit of those semi-Radaradas and so on, those superstars, it really has me excited that this Fijian team could do a lot of damage. If they get through pool stage, which I believe they will, they then look at A, if they finish top of their pool, or B, if they finish second, playing the winner or second place in Pool D. And in that pool, we see Japan, Argentina, England, Samoa battling it out for the top spots there. So to me, to sit here and say, A, they've beaten Japan already, if they can go and put up a good performance against an England side that is quite clearly struggling to find their identity at the moment, you then have Argentina and Samoa who they've beaten. So there is no doubt in my mind that in the stage at the quarterfinals, if they have the team, they could beat Argentina, England, Japan or Samoa. That then puts them into a semi-final against the likes of New Zealand, South Africa, France or Ireland, more than likely, which will be their biggest challenge, no doubt. Can they go all the way? More than likely not. But boy, I think I can really start to see the pictures of them in the semi-final in my mind. Another big thing is obviously Fiji is rugby mad. We know that, everyone knows that, everyone's seen that. What we could see is a big contingent of Fijian supporters at this French-hosted World Cup. And everybody knows that Fiji is everyone's favourite second team. Their supporters are passionate, the team is passionate, and to me this could be a real underdog story where we see the surprise package push teams like we've never seen it before. The 17 players from one club, the 10 players based out of France with that experience, that atmosphere built into them, the pool that they're currently in and the games that they've already played in the warm-up matches and leading up to this World Cup have me seeing Fiji as the biggest chance to be a surprise package at this World Cup. They also have the demons of 4 years ago where they lost to Uruguay in the pool stages and will be looking to show that they are still a force on the world stage. As always with these videos though, I would love to hear your thoughts on who you think could be the biggest surprise. Could Samoa do it? Could Georgia? Same pool, same type of thought process behind them. A lot of players come from one club based out of Georgia with some really experienced players playing in France. Could they be the team to do it? But to me, this Fijian flair, I've just seen so much based out of the Super Rugby. I just can't see Fiji not putting on a show for us. For now, though, thank you for joining me. I have been Luke from the Sports Booth. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comment. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time.